Long before the marble columns rose, there was only the river and the 7 hills waiting in silence. Legend speaks of twins, nursed by a wolf, who would forge a destiny from the wild earth. From humble clay and timber, a settlement took root, driven by the will to survive. They built walls not just of stone, but of law and shared purpose.
The Forum became the beating heart, where the voice of the people began to echo.
They declared that no single king would ever rule them again. Senatus populusque Romanus, the Senate and people of Rome.
Discipline became their greatest weapon, forging a military machine unlike any other.
But across the sea, a rival power watched with envious eyes.
To survive, Rome had to master the sea, facing storms and enemies alive.
They learned that victory is often bought with the heaviest of prices.
Resilience turned defeat into conquest, pushing the borders further than ever before. Wealth poured into the city, transforming brick into the promise of marble.
They did not just conquer land, they tamed it, binding the world with stone roads. Water flowed where they commanded, bringing life to growing cities.
Rome became a magnet for the world, a chaotic symphony of trade and ambition.
Silver and gold became the new language of power. But with wealth came corruption, and the unity of the Republic began to fracture.
The voice of the people grew angry, demanding their share of the glory. One man dared to cross the line, from which there was no return. Brother fought brother, and the soil of the Republic drank Roman blood.
Tyranny was feared, yet the solution brought only more chaos.
The final war for control was fought upon the waves, deciding the fate of millions.
From the ashes of the Republic, an empire rose, guided by a single hand.
The Pax Romana, a time of relative peace imposed by absolute power.
They built to honor the gods, creating structures that defied the limits of the time.
Spaces where the heavens seemed to touch the earth.
The Colosseum stood as a testament to their engineering and their appetite for spectacle. Here, death was theater, and the roar of the crowd was the emperor's true judge.
Civilization meant leisure, hygiene, and the social rituals of the baths.
For the elite, life was a pastoral dream of vineyards and villas.
Yet the empire rested on the backs of those who had no voice.
They valued knowledge, passing down philosophy, law, and rhetoric. Words were written that would outlast the stone itself.
At the edges of the world, the legions stood watch against the unknown. Beyond the walls, eyes watched, waiting for a moment of weakness. To the east, the empire touched the sands of Arabia and the Silk Road. Grain from Egypt, spices from the east,
all roads led to Rome. Under great leaders, the boundaries were pushed to their absolute limit. From the mists of Britannia to the burning sands of Syria, one law ruled them all. Wisdom sat upon the throne, knowing that even empires are mortal. But invisible enemies struck harder than any sword. Sickness brought silence, and the treasury began to bleed. Madness and ego replaced duty, and the rot began from the head. Loyalty was no longer to the state, but to the highest bidder. Power fractured. The throne became a revolving door of generals.
Pay the tax now! The legions must be paid!
Have mercy, I have nothing left.
The people were squeezed to pay for wars that never seemed to end.
To save the beast, they cut it in two, east and west. A new capital rose in the east, looking toward the future. A new faith emerged from the shadows, challenging the old gods. In darkness, a belief grew that offered something the Empire could not: salvation. One vision changed history, uniting the cross with the crown. The church became a power to rival the state itself. The fires of the old gods flickered and died out.
But the storm in the north could no longer be held back.
The legions were tired, their ranks filled with mercenaries who fought for gold, not glory. They came not just to raid, but to find a home within the dying light. Invincibility was a myth shattered on the battlefield. The old world was officially closed. The eternal city stood vulnerable under a darkening sky.
The masters of the world were now begging for their lives.
For the first time in 800 years, Rome fell to a foreign enemy. The shock reverberated across the known world. Those who could fled, leaving the ghosts of greatness behind. It ended not with a bang, but with a whisper. A new king sat on the throne, but he was no Caesar. The water stopped flowing. The great machine had ground to a halt. The roads remained, but there was no one left to maintain them. The Forum, once the center of the world, became a pasture for cattle. In quiet stone cells, the light of Rome was kept alive in ink and parchment. In the east, the flame continued to burn for another 1,000 years. Dreams of restoration lingered, but the past could not be fully revived. They preserved the law and the glory, transforming into something new. In the west, the villas crumbled into the earth. The marble of temples became the walls of simple houses.
The giant amphitheater slept, a stone skeleton of a giant.
Centuries later, the ruins would spark a rebirth of art and mind. Their language became the root of tongues spoken by billions. Their laws became the foundation of justice for the modern world.
Their concrete endured, defying the very erosion of time.
They were ambitious, cruel, brilliant, and flawed. They were us.
From the sands of Syria to the mist of the north, empires rise and empires fall. Power is fleeting, but the story remains. The eagle has flown, but its shadow is long. As the sun sets on the ancient world, we are left to walk among the ghosts of giants. The wars are over. The legions are gone. They dreamed of an eternal city. And in a way, through their art and their deeds, they achieved it. Time marches on, indifferent to our stone and our pride.
But as long as we remember, Rome never truly falls.
We were taught that the unit was sacred, more important than any individual life.
Senatus populusque Romanus.
The Roman Empire